What's up, y'all? Welcome to Call Sheet Social. It's your boy Chuck Raging, half and half amazing. I'm here with filmmaker extraordinaire Dontavious Shuler and director of photography Mikenzie. It's good to have y'all here. I really appreciate y'all coming out and stuff, man. Y'all been doing a lot of big things in the community, and we kind of just want to highlight what y'all got going on.
We're doing different movies and television shows, and we actually have one out right now on Tubi called Echoes. It's part one of a 3-part limited series. And I would say that probably will be my second meal. You know what I mean? Is that, either some type of real estate and working on my own projects outside of the major projects that are syndicated on television right now.
Mikenzie, what's your second meal?
I'm kind of a creature of habits. I eat the same thing all the time.
Okay.
So my second meal is not as diversified. I do photography, like street photography. So published a photo book, on the protests in 2020, and really like doc work and things like that. So my passion is kind of in the political side of things, a little activism. So anytime I can kind of put art and activism in the same space, I kind of do that.
Copy that. Okay, I want to segue into Echoes, monumental project. Dontavious, if I'm correct, I believe you wrote, directed, edited, curated the soundtrack for everything. And Mikenzie, I believe you were the cinematographer extraordinaire on that project. Okay. Can y'all tell us what it's about?
Echoes is a 3-part movie series on the traumas of the childhood traumas that we go through in the Black community with a backdrop of relationship. And so basically over the course of 3 movies, you'll see how if you don't deal with your childhood past traumas, how they can affect your current life. Everything is a slippery slope, if you will. And so if you don't deal with one thing, it becomes like this little thing that a bunch of little things are added up, and then it's this big thing. And it's a lot easier to clean up when it's this small, one little thing. But if you keep ignoring it long enough, that monster that you put in the closet that you keep feeding, it now, it grows. And now it's not hungry no more, but it's ready to take over. And so what happens when you don't have the tools equipped to stop that monster or to put that monster away? And so Echoes displays that.
That's awesome. That sounds drama-filled. It sounds like it's a lot of things going on in there that not only just is crazy, but people probably relate to.
Yeah, no, it's a very elementary, everyday story, if you will. You know what I mean? It's very teenage drama. The story and the plot is very simplified that anybody can really relate to it. Even though I'm focusing on the urban, feeling. Like a lot of us come from, not wealthy families or underappreciated, underrepresented communities. And so even if your family isn't directly affected by that, indirectly you're in the community of all of those things. So you see it, your friends have it, your auntie, your uncles, the people that you care about are going through these things. And so even if you're not directly affected by that, indirectly you still might feel something because of it. And I think that Echoes does a good job of telling that story of how one person that a lot of people care about can basically toxify their lives, if you will, because they chose not to deal with their own demons. And so their demons are now getting into everybody else's lives.
Okay, Mikenzie, reading the script, Dontavious comes to you with the script. How did the script speak to you, and how did it influence and motivate your shot selection, your lighting choices, and just how you chose to portray the story?
Reading the script, I think Dontavious did a really good job of just throwing you in the middle of everything that was going on. So as far as shot selection, we discussed different compositions and movements that really was going to have you feel like you were the spirit of the chaos that was following, right? So you're not just the audience looking in, you're affecting everything. So lighting choices, color has psychology, right? And does things subliminally to people. So just trying to play with color a little bit and get inside of people's heads in the same way that unbeknowing, people's actions and choices
Okay.
to affect them as well.
I love that. So I'm hearing like everything was intentional, down to the lighting choice. So that's something that people, when they watch this movie, pay attention to. Everything was intentional. Pay attention to all of these elements that put together this amazing story.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that there's so much, I mean, to the best of our ability, right? And our time and our access. There is so many Easter eggs in the movie that people probably won't even notice until they see part 3, and then they go back and watch all 3 of them together, and they be like, oh, this might be why X, Y, Z is happening. You know what I mean? This is why this looks this way. This is why this color is this thing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of hidden gems in it.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the soundtrack, because from what I hear, this is a full production. Not just the movie, but the music that comes with it. Can you tell us a little bit about how you curated that?
So we all work in the industry, the TV industry and stuff like that. And over that, coming up on my 11th, 12th year now, I've worked on a lot of music shows and had the opportunity to be around some of the best song curators and writers of not only my generation, but my mom's generation. You know what I mean? Jermaine Dupri, Swiss Beats, Sean Garrett DePen, Brian Michael Cox, you know what I mean? Like Usher, like we talking about like the Dougie Fresh, like the magnitude of people I've been able to be around just to shoot them and just listening to and watching them teach, and even just like coming in outside of a TV show aspect and shooting personal projects for them and learning from them and hear them do it. And then back in the day, my aunt was also like a song, an artist manager. So she managed like big acts, you know what I mean? I think one of her biggest acts at one point might have been Jagged Edge. And so, yeah, I'm familiar with the music industry, but I'm not an artist myself. You know, we all like rap a little bit as a kid. And so when I wrote the movie, it was my first time writing a movie. I didn't want it to have like, cause you know, we get like cleared music and reality TV and it sounded like little bubblegum music. And I didn't want that, you know what I mean? And so I was like, I'm gonna try to write music, and the main actor, shout out to Sade Pearson, she's the main actor in the movie. She plays Sydney. She's a singer, and she goes by Jamelody. And she has a really beautiful voice, really great energy. And I was talking to her about it. She was like, yeah, okay, cool. Let me see what you got. And I wrote this one. The first one was like, okay. And then we kept working and we got some good stuff. And so that was for 1. Once we came back into 2, I was like, I don't want this to just be a playlist of music. I want it to feel like an album. And so it was very intentional from top to bottom. I mean, from first intro that introduces you to the movie named Echoes. And introducing you to part 2, like it has echoes, curses of the past in the song. You know exactly where you at, but you get a little bit of a bounce at the end of that song. And then we get into the second song, Talk About It. You know what I mean? And it's where this woman is talking about like, nah, you fucked up. Y'all don't treat me right. And I don't want to do this no more. And then we get into Lost Our Way. And Lost Our Way is a nice bounce, but it's the guy's perspective, right? And it's like, I can't believe we just did this. I can't believe we just did all that just to, you know, not be together no more, right? And then we go into an interlude to bring you back down from that bounce to the theme and mood of the movie. You know what I mean? And from that interlude, we go into I Remember, I Miss You, Love and Loss, and so on and so forth, until we get back to the other interlude that brings us back up to the turning point. Just like the movie, we have an arc. So we got like the first act is the introduction and the bounce. Act 2 is the body of the movie and the body of the soundtrack. And then Act 3 is the turning point where the listener or the viewer of the movie is now like, we've been through the hell of the movie, and now like I feel like I want to make a change. I want to choose me now, and I want to have a better life, and I want to feel better. And that's when we start to feel better. We get back into that bounce, and we get back to love.
Wow, that sounds very, very carefully curated, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you. And let me get this straight. Did I hear you say that not only did you write the movie, but you also wrote all the songs?
Yeah, I wrote all the songs. I got the beats from MK Beats, phenomenal producer out of Baltimore, Maryland. My boy Nick Solid. You know what I mean? What was it? Nick Stay Humble. Okay. Yep. Nick Stay Humble introduced me to him, and then Sade introduced me to Gotti rock solid. And Gotti did the majority of the beats on the song. And Gotti also did all of the engineering, master engineering and vocal producing on the album.
That is very impressive. So not only you filmmaker extraordinaire, you also a songwriter as well. That's pretty dope.
And I guess I handpicked all the talent for the movie, just like I handpicked all the singers and rappers for the soundtrack. So I kind of like got a little A&R hand inside of there a little bit, because I know how I wanted to sound, I know how I wanted to feel, and I from the people that I had access to, I knew who could give me that. And so, you know.
How did this project fulfill you guys? How did this second meal fulfill you guys?
Really, this is what we got in the industry for.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that fills that space. And so being that this was a second meal, we didn't have, the 4 and 5 course meal, right, that we do for our first.
Right.
But it was a beautiful challenge. It was working with what we had and the resources we had and the time that we had, and really just feeling the freedom to explore and experiment and just try something.
And now it's on Tubi. Well, y'all got to check it out. That means execution was a success. So, Brother Dontavious, how did this project fulfill you? I know this is like a baby for you in a way.
This project for me was a baby in a way, but it was also therapy. The movie is inspired by real events that I've seen, went through myself, or had, external experiences with through the people that I love and care about. So it's very real moments that I've had to go through myself or seen someone go through, and I just based a story, a fictitious story around that, right? And so writing it down was like the first form of therapy for it, because I went through a hard time losing my aunt and a breakup, and so writing it down was like a nice therapy. But then actually filming it and then putting it out and then seeing how it's being received was like a whole nother, different thing. To me, it was never really about the money. I really wanted to see if I could do it, And shout out to Ryan Givens. We was working on this show called Caught in the Act. Make sure y'all check that out. It's on Viacom. And Ryan had put out this movie, Atlanta 10.0, independently, one camera. And I was just curious, and I was just asking all these questions about like how he did it. And I was just fascinated about it because I thought Ryan was the dumbest motherfucker ever. And I started really talking to him. And before I talked to him, me and Trey had a conversation. And it was like, how this nigga fucking with us, bro? Like, there's no way he's like this. Right. And so we started paying attention to him. And Slick was like, nah, bro, he messing with y'all. He just trolling. And when we started paying attention, we realized that he was trolling, and he actually knew more than we thought he knew about what he was talking about. Like, he was very informational, and he was very transparent about like what he did. And so I got like the playbook of exactly how he did it, and I did it exactly how he did it. And I was like, I wonder if I can do this. And one of my mentors, Maurice, he got a brother named Marceau, and he one of his things that he likes to say, if one man can do it, another man can do it. If one man can do it, another man can do it. And I'm that other man that tried to do it and that did it. You know what I mean? And so to bring it back to your question, this project was therapy. It was like birthing a baby. And it showed me something that I already knew deep down. But I've always been a person that was never afraid to take a risk, never afraid to bet on themselves, never afraid to lose it all for something I, wanted to do or something I care about. And it was kind of like laying out on the line because I didn't know that it was actually how it was really going to happen. I just went and shot the first scene in Huntsville with Kimmy from Love and Marriage, me and Christia and Mel. And I came back and Mikenzie was available for the rest of it. And we shot this one scene again with one person with Sade. And I still didn't really know if it was gonna be able to happen. And then one step, by one step, sometimes we was finding the actors the day or two before we shot, or a week or two before we shot, and they was learning the lines and we was rolling with it. Being from reality TV, we good at making things happen, being adaptable, making changes, working on the fly, and we used those skills in this moment where we didn't have all of the funding that we may have needed. and that came to our benefit. So, yeah, man, it was truly a therapeutic experience, and it was super dope to have something that's in your mind be able to come to light without a machine behind you. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful for that. To God be the glory for all that.
I let y'all live, but y'all not gonna talk so lightly on birthing a baby, putting it on no film.
You're right. You're right. We don't know nothing about that. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. That's you're right.
Y'all just ping ponging that around. All right.
Okay, it's like, matter of fact, I ain't got no comparison to that because I don't even know what that's like. So, but hey, I tell you what, that right there is food for your soul. You know what I'm saying? Second meal, that is the fulfilling second meal. And I just wanted to take this time to tell you guys that I am extremely inspired and motivated by you two. You guys strive for excellency every day. And whether or not people give y'all flowers, just know that I'm watching and I look up to y'all. You know what I'm saying? And it's an honor to even be able to share Earth with y'all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of y'all and I want y'all to continue to do that because it's helping me become a better person as well.
Absolutely. Type shit. I received that.
Absolutely. And so this is Call Sheet Social, man, and thank y'all for coming out. Oh wait, before we go, can y'all tell us how to follow you guys, where to see the projects, and can y'all give us y'all information?
Okay, I'm Mikenzie Lewis. Socials are either MIK and Z or MLK and Z. Because if you don't jump on them handles quick enough, people will snipe you.
That's a fact.
On TikTok, MLK and Z. MikenziLewis.com is the website, and that's where you can find a little bit more of my photography as well as a book should you choose to get one for yourself. We're going to repeat this because Echo's out now on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Roku, TVE&I, any major streaming platform you can think of. We're going to make it there eventually.
Yeah. And I'm Dontavious Shuler. My handle on Instagram is Dontavious at Dontavious Shuler, DonTaviousshuler.
Oyster. With the second meal coming in.
Oh, what's the second meal coming in? In full big back fashion. My handle at Dontavious Shuler on Facebook and Instagram. I don't got a Twitter. Don't do all that shit. And on TikTok, same thing, at Dontavious Shuler. I like to keep it simple. And I'm a big fan of Tyler Perry, and I think that one of the biggest things and best things he ever did was put his name on everything. Absolutely. And so that's what I'm learning to do. Absolutely. Yeah. Echoes out on Tubi, Sling TV, Amazon, Roku, TVI. Can I get one of the other hot sauces, please? Because I like. You can't handle that. I can't.
He's training, don't mind him. Yeah, I'm like, you can bring them in on napkins. I saw him bringing it out. I'm like, you just gonna bring a fork? You want something else?
Another Modelo. Thank you.
So yeah, y'all, please go and hit up Tubi, check it out. You know what I'm saying? And please follow our guests.
Part 2 coming soon. Part 2 coming this winter. Probably winter, most likely winter. Echoes Part 2, Curses of the Past. It is done. It is edited. It is uploaded to distribution, and it'll be coming your way very soon.
Y'all be on the lookout, man. This is Call Sheet Social, and we are wrapped.
Copy that.